Srimad Bhagavatam program where devotees read prayers from Srimad Bhagavatam. These prayers are recited by pure devotees of Lord Shri Krishna. The correct theme is prayers of Sukhdev Goswami. These are beautiful prayers from Canto 2, Chapter 4, from verse 12 to 23. Today we have a very wonderful devotee, Her Grace Rohini Didi Mataji, who will be presenting these prayers and sharing her realizations. Hare Krishna Mataji, over to you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna devotees. Thank you for giving the opportunity. Dhriti will sing Jai Radha Madhav. Later, I'm going to start with the prayers and Sukadeva Goswami prayers and my realizations, first couple of verses. Hare Krishna devotees. Jaya Hare Jaya Radha Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jala Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Manachari Jaya Jaya Javiha Thank you, Dhruti. I will invoke prayers for my purification. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Srinvatam Swakata Krishna Yashravana Kirtana Vidiyantasto hi abhadrani vidunote suhrutsatam nashtaprayesu abhadresu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki om agnanatimirandasya jnananjana salakaya chakshurvunmilitam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayate girim yat kripatam aham vande Shri Gurun Dina Taranam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Today's verse is from Sukadeva Goswami prayers. And these prayers are from Canto 2, 4th chapter, 12th verse to 23rd verse. I love to recite the pure devotees' prayers which came from the heart and their lips. So even I'm not qualified I don't have a skill to pronounce the tones and all and pronunciation, but still I would like to do. I wanted to try my best. Nama parasmai purusaya bhuyase sad udbhavastana nirodha leelaya grihita shakti tritayaya dehinam antarbhavaya nupalakasya vartamane bhuyo nama sadvrijna chide satam असंभवायाखिल सत्त्वमूर्तये पुंसां पुनः परमहंसाय आश्रमे व्यवस्थितानाम् अनुमृग्य दासुषे नमस्ते स्वरसभाय सात्वताम् विधूरकास्ताय मुहुः योगिनां निरस्तसमायातिशयेन राधसा स्वधामिनी ब्राह्मिणी रंस्यते नमः यत्कीर्तनं यत्स्मरणं यदीक्षणं यद्वन्दनं यच्छ्रवणं यदर्हणं लोकास्य सद्यो विदुनोति कल्मषं तस्मै सुभद्रा स्रवसे नमो नमः विचाक्षणाय चरणोपसादनात् संगं व्युदस्यो भयतो अन्तरात्मनः विन्दन्ति हि ब्रह्मगतिं गताक्लमास् तस्मै सुभद्रा श्रवसे नमो नमः तपास्विनो दानपरा यशस्विनो मनस्विनो मन्त्रविदा सुमङ्गलः क्षेमं न विन्दन्ति विना यदर्पणं तस्मै सुभद्रा श्रवसे नमो नमः किराटहूनन्द्रपुलीन्द्रपुल्कसा अबीरसुम्भा यवना कसाद्यः येन्ये च पापा यदापाश्रयाश्रयः शुध्यन्ति तस्मै प्रभविष्णवे नमः स एष आत्मात्मवतम् अधीश्वरस् त्रयीमयो धर्ममयस्तपोमयः घताव्यालिकैरजशङ्करादिभिर् वितर्क्यलिङ्गो भगवान् प्रसीदताम् श्रियपतेर्यज्ञपते प्रजापते धियांपते लोकापते धरापते पतेर्गते चान्दकाय विष्णुसात्वतां प्रसीदतां मे भगवान् सतां पति यदाङ्घ्रि अभिध्यान समाधि दौत्या धियानुपश्यन्ति हि तत्त्वम् आत्मनः वदन्ति चैतत् कवयो यथा रुचम् समे मुकुन्दो भगवान् प्रसीदताम् प्रचोदितायेन पुरा सरस्वती वितन्वताज्यस्य सतीं स्मृतिं हृदि स्वलाक्षणा प्रादुर्भूत किलास्यतः समे ऋषीणां वृषभः प्रसीदताम् भूतैर्महद्भिर्य इमः पुरो विभु निर्मायसे ते यदमासु पुरुषः भुङ्क्ते गुणान् षोडशात्मकः सोऽलङ्कृशिश्च भगवान् वचांसि मे These are the prayers by Sukhdev Goswami, and my realizations from the translations and the purports of the Srila Prabhupada ji. And Sukadeva Goswami wanted to offer his prayers to Vishnu form, who seated in all jivas. It is difficult to understand for mundane people, but Acharyas says with bhakti we can understand him. Since he is above goodness, passion and ignorance, meaning he is transcendental. He can go anywhere and can sit subtle way like a Paramatma. People does mistakes and sins in their actions knowingly and unknowingly. That is material quality. But cannot understand those reactions for good or and bad will come back. Krishna designed intelligently. He decided to go back, to go with every soul as a super soul to guide with bhakti. People can understand or accept Vishnu form within them, who is witnessing, and when time comes, he is giving reactions of past actions with knowledge or without knowledge or purposefully done by them. Acharya said, again with bhakti only they can ready to accept the reactions with patiently. Krishna will help and help them to increase their faith, uh, to deal with that problems, whatever the reactions came, and he will increase the faith on Krishna to know about him more and more. Sukadeva Goswami is already God realized, so he knows the truth and offering his prayers to the Lord from his heart. And the next verse, like, Sukadeva Goswami wanted to offer, the reason is the people are aware of a Lord transcendental form is a little bit and do not have not a much knowledge of Lord. These people, when they do some service a little bit, will protect by the distresses whatever they face in the material world through his mercy only. He will increase their faith too. People are the second type people, and Acharya is saying that like people who follow the rules and regulations of the Vedas also protected by Lord, meaning that the harming any jivas, not harming any jivas for their sense gratification, meaning like, example like a meat eating and physically or mentally hurting any of the jivas purposefully. Those kind of people also will protected by the Lord, though they are not directly worshipping Lord, because Krishna likes the all jivas should be like, safe, and these people are like that, they come into that category. The third type people, Acharya is saying, Lord said, impious people and against the Vedas will get punished by the Lord. And third type people, like these two examples above, are like in a little bit know about Lord and are following the regulations and rules related to the Vedas we mentioned. But in the third type, like impious people and against the Vedas, and they are they definitely will get punished, because even because they are impious, they don't know, they won't do good things for any jivas or for them. It is not good for others or for them also. For that reason, like Krishna took like as a decision like to punish them, and they make them to realize this category, like Hiranyakashipu, Ravana and Shishupala will come. So those people are like, they, once they get the boons from demigods like Brahmaji, and they started giving problems to the normal mundane people, so that Krishna won't tolerate. So he chose that way, like, when he will bear the all their impious activities till maximum level, and later, like, he himself come and kill that kind of souls. Any kind of people will get some kind of spiritual progress through Paramahamsas of impersonalist, which is the energies come from the Lord, are called what is that? Brahmanandis. The devotees like energetic. We get generally like, there are generally we progress by ours. Consistently we cannot progress by ourselves, though we are pious. But with these Paramahamsas, like Acharyas said, like Brahmanandis and another Premanandis. Brahmanandis are the persons like they worship they won't worship, they believe the impersonalist philosophy, and their energy come from the Lord only, but they do some pious to the normal people. That kind of people, if we get the when we meet them, like normal people who are not fully focusing the spiritual progress, then if we meet those kind of Brahmanandis, like chances are more likely to progress in spiritual. And another type devotees, they are energetic, who are unflinching, who are having unflinching faith on Lord directly. And these are Premanandis. These kind of Paramahamsas are like also will give the guidance to the people who stuck like in a spiritual progress, here and there, like sometimes they do, sometimes they won't do. If they meet these kind of a Preman and these devotees, then they will, the chances are more to progress like in the spiritual way. And will, and all kind of people, the whoever like meet these two kind of people will get progress, and will awarded to their designed for them, whatever they designed for, and whatever the destiny for designed by the Lord, they will get, and they will reach that one. Acharyas are spiritual psychologists and yogis. They explain so nicely that now our so nicely in the categories wise, and they understood what kind of material modes and how it affect and all they explain. And now our part is to categorize which level we are in, and individually, if we need to make any corrections to get the spiritual progress, we need to act like that, and we need to correct, and so to get the mercy of the Lord. And Sukadeva Goswami wanted to offer prayers that Lord, who does systematically and make each jiva like a innumerable jivas, like to reach their destination, it is in a big scale. Like what I wanted to try to say is and so Lord is made it like a very systematic way, like to make everybody to come back to his abode, and different types of like he gave the intelligence to the acharyas that different categories, which level they are, and whom to meet, how to meet, like we need to take it like what is the Brahmanandis, and like when we meet like Premanandis as a God blessing, and we need to accept their association, and we need to practice what they suggested to us. That's what so then only the word Krishna's will, like to whatever the design he designed for us, like to go back to Godhead, will make sense. It makes sense to me. And in other words, like Acharya says, Sukadeva Goswami explains that like there are innumerable jivas in innumerable universes, as we all always Srila Prabhupada ji mentioned in his purports. And though principle is applying by Lord same to understand, to feel Lord internal potency is unimaginable. Who is the only transcendentalist? Lord always associate with Adu dynasty, the devotee who wants to relation with the Krishna will take birth in this dynasty to satisfy the devotee's desire, and Krishna will satisfy the devotee's desire and to perform his leelas too. Both the ways, like, he will take his he will always associate with the Edu dynasty because of this reason, like, want to fulfill the devotees desire, and as well as the wanted to give the pleasure for the those devotees through his leelas, and he want to give the problem for the non devotees, whoever give the problems to the devotees, when he descends, or like, through um, he wants to give the problems to them, like, when he descends in Duryodhana gave problem to Pandavas all the time, so many ways. Krishna always like, wanted to protect them, because Arjuna and Pandavas, everybody, like, they they fully dependent on Krishna only. So with that, like, Krishna wants to protect from the non-devotees like them, like Duryodhana and Sushipala, who gave the trouble to the Pandavas. And Krishna always, like, even in the Leela time, or while giving the trouble, like, to the to his devotees also, he never, like, it shows like a mundane qualities. Like, he always enjoys, like, in any act, any leelas, when he performances, when he descends to the earth. So spirit, not only in earth, like, and he always enjoys spiritually and material world also, when he is descends in performing the leelas, or when he is in with the devotees, or and while against while he fighting with the non-devotees also, who are giving the problem to devotees also, he enjoys he always enjoys, like, because he is the eternal enjoyer. He, wherever he is eternally he enjoys, like, in um, every actions of every action of his leelas. We called it his leelas, but it looks like mundane, but he enjoys each and everything. But we actually depend on, like, Krishna himself, but he don't need to depend on anybody. So he is independent, since he does, like, he, when he descends, like, he enjoys, like, mundane thing looks like that, but still we are not supposed to copy Krishna to enjoy like how he did in his leelas. But we can feel blissfulness while doing his personal services, like a kirtanam, shravanam, pada sevanam, etc. In that way we can develop doubtless and fearless, what do you call, uh, um, faith on Krishna for eternally, and to build the relation to Krishna eternally. The another verse, like, Sukadeva Goswami mentioned that he wants to mention that another reason that we can, since we are in Kali Yuga, we cannot take a darshan directly, but can feel his presence with the offenseless chanting the mantra, which is given by the spiritual realized yogis to the universes, and those prayers and our prayers to the Lord will help to feel his presence. In that way, like, we should be very careful in dealing with the devotees in while in worshipping places like temples, churches, mosques, and meditation places. Those kind meditation places means, why they mentioned, why Acharya mentioned is, it is impersonalist, but it is a indirect form of indirect energy of way of like to reach the Krishna. These places are very precious places for the mundane people, and we need to be very careful while when we are in the temples or in these places, like and we need to be very careful while dealing with the devotees and who are guiding those in those places. Those kind of people we acharyas is calling namo if they offend, like or they, like people, some people, they have a willingly, they want to offend, like they don't know what they're doing also, that is wrong or right also, they don't know. But the Acharya is saying that, like, if you wanted to free from that kind of willingful anarthas, like are inside, like the subtle things, to avoid, we need to avoid it. But Acharyas mentioned that those kind of people are called a namo balad yasya hi papa buddhihi. They have a papa buddhi, but still, like they come. If the people are like them, like they are not supposed to give up their thing, like still they need to come and keep trying in that places, so that they will away from those kind of anarthas, like slowly in the process given by the people who are in those places, like the temple, like churches and mosque and meditation places. That's what, like the slowly they can come. That's what Acharyas has mentioned. The people, when they visited when the people visit the temples, like generally they come for the help, like these kind of subtle things are material problems, or like pure devotion or some reason, like they come, but they don't express immediately, like they cannot some of them, like they cannot, they just talk to the deity, or they want to come out from that, they want some kind of help they expect from the deities, or like that kind of places. And so we need to be like the devotees, like we need to be instrument to them, like to grow their spiritual path, or else, like at least be quiet, or like at least not obstacle to their growth, became by offensing these kind of things, like as Acharyas mentioned. That is my takeaway, like very strong point. It is not easy when the subtle things are bothering to us, like to control that, like but still, like when keep practicing, Krishna will help. That's what Acharya says. Another verse, like Sukadeva Goswami mentions that another reason, Krishna is very highly intelligent. Of course, he is intelligent, like the way he designed the system, like bringing back though with the false ego, we came from Goloka, Vrindavan, all jivas, these many, like an earth, under the ground, like in the water, many jivas, like we have seen so many in the surroundings, not seen so many jivas, but still, like so many jivas in this universe, like this, like many universes are there, many jivas, like countless, like all jivas are came from because of false ego. I mean, we also can live by without you, like like that we came. That's what Acharyas mentioned. That makes sense to me, like but struggling, like for maintaining our own body is very difficult without his help. And he gave such a nice design. He designed that way, like he gave some place, like he's such a like merciful and compassionate, like he does not, like though he is independent super soul, he did not left us like that. He gave this place, like all universes came from his body, and systematically Brahmaji and designed like a Brahmaji, Vishnu Tattva, Vishnu and Shiva Tattva, and like one from Goloka to Jivas, like to material dropping materially, and with the and Varnashima system, and guiding, like how Jiva has to come back, like following the Varnashima system and fulfilling their destiny slowly. And not only like that, and he's sitting and witnessing as a witness, and where how their destiny can reach their destiny, like that, like he's guiding the people who took their like his guidance, the choices they made, they will they will reach to the Krishna slowly. Of course, it takes many lifetimes. That's what Acharyas always mention. But still, like he is very intelligent by this example, by this understanding like Varnashrama system. Another thing, like in another example, we can understand in Kurukshetra, in Mahabharata, Kurukshetra battle, when Krishna knew Arjuna become weak, he wanted he wants the mundane people won't get, he wants the to Arjuna to understand like how to come out from the weakness. Like mundane people won't get, they cannot come out their weakness. It is very common, weakness comes, and that weaknesses like they cannot come if they are trying by themselves. But Arjuna, through Arjuna, like he explains that like just do your duty, offer to me whatever you do, even it is not religious, like it is a duty, is you need to do it. Like if it is not religious also, just offer to me and just move on, like otherwise, like mundane people definitely will stuck. Like Arjuna, through Arjuna, he gave the best message to the jivas, that like how to overcome that, like and how to offer the duties to Krishna, even Varnashrama Dharma also following, how to offer everything to Krishna, and without so that like without attachment to that duty or like results or anything, we can do free mind, the action, like whatever we perform that minute, like 100% and without expectation any result. And so that is that way, like Sukadeva Swami says that like he is very highly intellectual, so he wants to offer all. There are many reasons mentioned by Sukadeva Goswami, but I don't have a time, so I'm stopping here. Like he wants to, he gave these kind of reasons to offer his prayers from his heart, like and how important to accept the supreme personality of Godhead, not to deviate from anything, like any attractions in the material world. He is already there, like Sukadeva Goswami is giving that, like he is not there, it is not like that. He is Krishna is using him as an instrument to guide us, like through these prayers. Like that's what I understood. I'm stopping here. I'm so sorry if I take like I took a little more time, but if I take any offenses, please forgive me. Hare Krishna devotees, thanks for giving opportunity this prayers to and realization to share with you all. Thank you for listeners like and devotees for participating, and thank you Veena Mataji. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank Dhriti for reciting Jai Radha Madhva. And Mataji, very nice class you gave. You very nicely recited all the prayers, and then you explained, started explaining the summary of the verses, and very heart-touching, and practical realizations you have shared. Thank you, Mataji. Just 2 points, because of no time, I'll just tell 2 points. So we may not be very qualified, but we have to associate with Paramahamsas. We have to associate with devotees who have realizations, who have realized the absolute truth. That's how we will progress in bhakti, right? That's why association is very important. And Krishna is always protecting us from non-devotees. You gave examples of how Pandavas are protected, and you nicely explained how Krishna is intelligent. Of course, he's Supreme Lord, but still, you explained that. And I think the key message that you shared was how what is the significance of these prayers, and why Sukhdev Goswami is reciting these prayers, and what it means to us. So that's very important. Thank you, Mataji, for the wonderful class. With that, devotees, we will conclude the BhagavatSanga program today. Quick reminder, Friday, that is like in 2 days, we have Radhashtami. The program starts from 5:30 to 8 o'clock. please come to the temple and get blessings of Srimati Radharani. With that, we conclude the program today. Thank you all for joining.